Welcome friends to a new session on the course School Organization, Administration and Management. In this session, we will discuss the need and importance of physical education, concept of physical education, meaning and definitions, forms of physical education in schools, concept of health education, methods of imparting health education in schools, and school health education programs. Physical education is one of the aspects of education. Physical education is an integral part of the total education process and has its aims in the development of physically, mentally, emotionally and socially fit citizens through the medium of physical activities which have been selected with a view to realizing these outcomes. Physical education is a sum of those experiences which come to the individual through movement. Physical education is that field of education which deals with big muscle activities and their related responses. The old concept of physical education as mere drill or series of regulated exercises has been rejected. It includes all forms of physical activities and games which promote the development of the body and mind. There had been a tendency in various schemes of physical education in the past to emphasize only the physical fitness value of physical education and ignore its educational value. The concept of physical education has been broadened as it should contribute not only to physical fitness but also to physical efficiency, mental alertness and the development of certain qualities like perseverance, team spirit, leadership, obedience to rules, moderation in victory and balance in defeat. Let us now see what the need and importance of physical education is. According to Swami Vivekananda, what India needs today is not the Bhagavad Gita but the football field. Rayburn says, we need in Indian education a general physical education. We need a conception of education in which physical education takes its rightful place, in which its vital importance is recognized. A properly directed physical education should result in health, happiness, efficiency and character. In the words of Froebel, if we wish to develop the whole being, we must exercise the whole human being. We shall now discuss the concept of physical education. Physical education is a very wide concept and it is a vital part of the larger process of education. It is not correct to equate physical education with games and sports, gymnastics, mass drill, yoga, physical exercise, physical training and physical culture. None of these terms convey the correct concept and scope of physical education. Physical education encompasses all these programs. Dealing with the concept of physical education, the Secondary Education Commission report says, physical education is an indispensable part of all health programs. Its various activities should be so planned as to develop the physical and mental health of the students, cultivate recreational interests and skills, and promote the spirit of teamwork, sportsmanship, and respect for others. Physical education is, therefore, much more than mere drill or a series of regulated exercises. It includes all forms of physical activities and games which promote the development of both the body and the mind. The Education Commission points out that there has been a tendency in recent government schemes of physical education to emphasize only the physical fitness value of physical education and ignore its educational value. The Commission was aware of the hard realities which one encounters while preparing programs of physical education in schools and colleges. Therefore, it suggested that the programs should take into account not only what is useful but also what is possible in view of limitations and facilities, time and number of teachers. It also emphasized the need for re-examining and redesigning the programs of physical education in the light of certain basic principles of child growth and development. The term physical education includes activities like exercises, fitness, as well as curative games, informal play, movement education, rhythmic activities, sports and yoga, health-oriented activities which help for the emotional, mental, physical, social and spiritual development of the individual. Physical education is much more than building a healthy and strong body. From the views that we have just discussed, it is obvious that physical education is not only concerned with helping the child to grow and develop physically, but also learning to fit in with his social environment and adjusting to life around, acquiring the capacity to be mentally alert to all environmental responses, expressing emotions without prejudice to others, and otherwise reaching his or her maturity progressively. We shall now discuss the meaning and definitions of physical education. The word physical education comprises of two words, physical and education. The plain dictionary meaning of physical is relating to body characteristics of a person such as physical strength, physical endurance, physical fitness, physical appearance or physical health. The word education means the systematic instruction or training or preparation for some particular task. The two words combined together stands for the systematic instruction or training related to physical activities or program of activities necessary for the development and maintenance of human body, of the development of physical powers and activities for cultivating physical skills. Physical education is a course that focuses on the developing physical fitness. Physical education is the education of man in and by means of physical activity. Physical education is the school subject by which children do physical exercises or take part in physical games and sports. According to Charles A. Butcher, physical education is an integral part of the total education process and has its aim in the development of physically, mentally, emotionally and socially fit citizens through the medium of physical activities which have been selected with a view to realizing these outcomes. According to C.C. Cowell, physical education is a social process of change in the behavior of the human organisms originating primarily from the stimulus of social big muscle play and related activities. According to R. Cassidy, physical education is a sum of changes in the individual caused by experience which can bring in motor activity. According to H.C. Buck, physical education is that part of general education program which is concerned with the growth, development and education of children through the medium of big muscle activities. It is the education of the whole child by means of physical activities. Physical activities are the tools. They are so selected and conducted so as to influence every aspect of the child's life physically, mentally, emotionally and morally. Thus, physical education means total growth and development through the medium of physical activities which lead to happy and useful life of an individual as an adult member of his community. The forms of physical education in schools. A comprehensive program of physical education is discussed here. It may be adjusted according to the needs, environment and levels of various schools. First, we shall discuss nursery schools. In view of their peculiar situation and requirements, the physical education activities will prove more useful here. The first is the rhythmic exercises. Rhythmic exercises like dancing, singing, acting and games. The delightful rhythm of such activities is a great source of pleasure to the youngsters. Second, free play activities like walking, running, jumping, skipping, pushing, throwing, paddling, sliding, swinging, hammering, gardening, etc. Third, play activities like circle and line games, musical chairs race, hide and seek, touch me not, potato race, etc. Fourth, learning of alphabet and numbers through music and play. In primary schools, certain activities are expected to be more suitable at this stage. First, dancing and dramatics, including folk dancing, singing, skipping to music and dramatics, running, jumping, ball throwing and catching and other games. Second is play and organized games like kabaddi, kho-kho, volleyball, football, ring tennis, table tennis, scouting, girl guiding, rope jumping and other recreative games. Third, gymnastics like tumbling and vaulting, drill and marching exercises, easy exercises on jumping, climbing and folk dancing. These will provide motor training as well as recreation. Fourth, natural activities like running, jumping, climbing, throwing, boxing, balancing, etc. These activities appeal to the natural urges of the children. Fifth, corrective exercises are introduced for posture training and for correcting physical defects. In middle, high and senior secondary schools, certain activities will be suitable like 1. Dance and music, including folk dancing, classical dancing and gymnastic dancing. These activities prove useful for self-expression and neuromuscular coordination. Second, organized games, including major games like kabaddi, hockey, football, volleyball, kho-kho, basketball, cricket, etc. Dual games like badminton, table tennis, ring tennis, etc. Recreative games like relays, social games, etc. Third, sports and athletics, including various types of field and track events like running, jumping, throwing, cycling, swimming, riding, skating, etc. Fourth, physical culture games like weightlifting, wrestling, boxing, yogic exercises and mass combatives based on attack and defense. Fifth, camping and outdoor activities like hiking, picnics, excursions, mountaineering, etc. Sixth, rhythmic activities including rhythm games, folk dances, social dances, community singing, etc. Seventh, formal activities like marching, gymnastics, mass drill, mass PT, etc. Eighth, special activities like ceremonial parades, demonstrations, flag salutations, singing national anthem, practical projects, etc. Program for physical education. First, developmental activities. Walking, running, throwing, jumping, climbing, balancing, weight training, yogic exercises. Second, rhythmics. Rhythmic games, folk dances, singing games, social dances and community singing. Third, games, sports and athletics. Games such as kabaddi, kho-kho, volleyball, football, hockey, basketball, cricket, which are known as major games. Tennis, table tennis, badminton, etc. are dual games, and relay games, social games, group games, etc., which are recreational games. Fourth, sports. Cycling, riding, skating, shooting, etc. Fifth is athletics. running, jumping, throwing, walking. Sixth, formal activities like drill and marching, mass PT exercises, etc. Seventh, apparatus, parallel bars, Roman rings, beam, vaulting, ropes, etc. Eighth, combatives, wrestling, boxing, lathi fight, dagger fight, etc. Ninth, aquatics, swimming, diving and life saving. 10th, camping and outdoor activities, hiking, cross country, camping, picnics, excursions, mountaineering. 11th, special activities like demonstrations, ceremonial parades, flag salutations, singing the national anthem, etc. Physical education and health education. Education about health is health education, whereas education of the physic is called physical education. Physical education can be called one of the aspects of health education. Physical appearance, good physic and a sound body are the responsibility of physical education. Health education employs and develops the knowledge of rules of personal hygiene and ways of healthy living. Physical education develops physical health by employing the means of games, sports, gymnastics, folk dances, classical dances, etc. J.B. Nash has remarked that health and recreation are results while physical education activities are the means. Both health and physical education aspire for a common goal, that is, the development of the individual or that of a group. We shall now discuss some of the methods of imparting health education. Some of the important ways and means of effectively imparting health education in schools are discussed here. Healthy school environment. Any scheme of health education in schools must first ensure a healthy school environment and surroundings. If the school environment is clean and healthy, it is befitting basic amenity towards health education. It is necessary to make classrooms, playgrounds, passages, laboratories, workshops, lawns, etc. very attractive and conducive to health. There should be suitable arrangement of clean drinking water and place for taking midday meals. The provision of suitable urinals and lavatories also demands attention in the interest of sanitation and health. The conditions of work and work appliances should also be suitable for developing healthy habits and healthful living. Dustbins at every suitable corner is another requisite facility. Health book. Each student should be asked to maintain a health book. It will contain the health record of a student. Pictures illustrating important health rules, causes, prevention and remedies of various diseases may be pasted in it. An important health rule should be pasted on the top of every page. This book will provide to the authorities many clues for important health education to individuals and groups. Safety first. The school has a responsibility for providing an environment that ensures safe living at school. It is necessary that safety is promoted in the classrooms, playgrounds, laboratories, workshops, etc. Lectures and talks. The headmaster, teachers, school medical officer, local health authorities and the physical education instructor may deliver special lectures on various requisites of health and hygiene from time to time. After these talks, students should be given opportunities to ask questions concerning these topics of health and hygiene to remove their doubts and to bring in their individual health problems. The impact of these lectures and talks on the students should also be evaluated from time to time. Printed material. The school can accumulate a lot of printed material on health and hygiene, such as books, booklets, charts, posters, pamphlets, leaflets, etc. The health department, hospitals, Red Cross and other social welfare organizations can be contacted for relevant health literature. The teacher can themselves prepare charts, posters and leaflets on simple topics like food, exercise, personal cleanliness, healthy habits, prevention, disease, etc. The students can also be encouraged to prepare and display such materials. Health weeks. Health Week may be celebrated in the school every year, in which special emphasis may be placed on personal hygiene, school cleanliness, community health, etc. The students may engage in the thorough cleanliness of the school campus. They may also go to the village and do social service for its cleanliness. Various student committees may be formed regarding different aspects of personal cleanliness. Different committees may arrange competitions in their areas and award prizes to students having a better grasp of health education and its activities. Health projects. Apart from health weeks, some specific health projects may also be undertaken by the school to promote health education. The uneducated adults may be educated about personal hygiene. The eradication of mosquitoes can be another campaign. Some exercises, drills, games and entertainments may also be introduced to serve some of the aspects of health education. Health clubs. Health clubs, like other student clubs and societies, can be organized in schools. These clubs can arrange debates, plays, etc. on health matters in cooperation with Red Cross Society and Health Department. The members of these clubs should be duly bound to practice health rules in their daily lives. Films and film strips. These are the latest devices for imparting health education. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and also the Public Relations Department prepare from time to time certain documentary films to acquaint the public with the causes, precautions and remedial measures of important diseases. These films also discourage bad habits like smoking, drinking, addiction, overeating, gambling, etc. Importance of personal and social hygiene can be explained very effectively with the help of these films, which are really done much service in making people health-minded. The films or film strips on various aspects of health can be shown in the school from time to time. Film strips depicting various aspects of health can also be prepared in the school at a very low cost. Radio. Radio talks are popular and effective medium for giving effective health education to the pupils and the public in general. Health rules, healthy habits, health standards, health requirements, health hazards, etc. can be presented to the listeners through talks, poems, songs, plays, etc. over the radio. The students not only get entertainment from radio programs but useful health instructions also. Television. Television provides a much better device to telecast features on healthful living. It is a most potent instrument in raising the health standards of the community. Educational trips. Seeing is believing. Field trips provide actual learning situations for the pupils and they get a first-hand experience. Such trips can be organized to visit Red Cross, clinics, exhibitions, yoga centers, public health centers, water supply centers, etc. After the visit, there should be further discussion to clarify any doubt or to supplement the material. Incidental teaching. At the school stage, there are always many opportunities of giving incidental health education to the students. There may be an incident of a communicable disease. The teacher has to educate the students to prevent against it. By frequent checking, personal cleanliness habits may be emphasized among the pupils. Here we shall discuss on the program of health. The school health education program revolves around three aspects. 1. Health instruction. 2. Health services. and 3. Health supervision. First, let us see health instruction. It is one of the most important responsibilities and functions of the school to ascertain that every student is made familiar with the need for maintaining excellent health. They need to know about their own physical health, what good health is, how to acquire good health, how to avoid illness and accidents, how to protect health of others, facts about sex, value of improved nutrition, value of exercise, recreation, rest, sleep, sanitation, regular elimination, cleanliness, safety, etc. Scope of health instruction. Health instruction would include areas like 1. The elementary knowledge of physiology and anatomy, including those influences which are injurious to physical health as well as physiological system of the individual. Second, hygiene and sanitation, which includes food, its importance and requirements, its characteristics and nutritive aspects, its source, its preparation and contamination, its digestion, its assimilation and its excretion. Water and air, their importance, source, contamination, etc. Rest and sleep, their importance and manner. Exercise, importance, manner and duration. Work and play, recreational activities, etc. Dress and dwelling. Healthful surroundings, home environment, lighting and ventilation. Healthful habits like brushing, bathing, exercise, eating, etc. Influence of bad habits like spitting, smoking, drinking, addiction, etc. Causes of diseases and our defenses against them. First aid and home nursing. Special hygiene like domestic hygiene, sex hygiene, mental hygiene, community hygiene and industrial hygiene. Second, we shall discuss the school health services. Besides imparting health instruction to the pupils, it is important for the school to provide practical health services. Here are some of the reasons for providing health services. To enable the students to realize their educational aims, to minimize the hazards of school attendance, to organize school programs according to individual capacities and needs, to ensure normal and sound health among the pupils. We shall now discuss the agencies of health service. The school health service is looked after by certain agencies like the school medical department, dispensary, Red Cross unit and the sports department. The program of health service consists of medical inspection of pupils, records of medical inspection and health, information to parents about the physical health of the pupils, clinical treatment of needy students, vaccination, special attention to the health conditions of the pupils like posture, skin, ears, heart, lungs, eyes, chest, throat, nervous disorders, etc. History of special or chronic diseases, follow-up of medical inspection, first aid, midday meals and looking into the nutritional aspects, and attending to healthy and clean school conditions. The third one is health supervision. The school authorities also have to supervise various health services regularly. It has to be ensured that the school functions under sound hygienic conditions. The important aspects which come under the health supervision are: first is the site of the school. The school should be situated in a healthy, attractive, clean, congenial and pleasant environment. It should have a natural surrounding with a touch of beauty. It should be at a safe distance from unhealthy things. The site should be free from noise, dust, smoke, dampness and other unhygienic conditions. Second is the building. The building as a whole, Classrooms, playgrounds, etc. should be clean, neat and spacious and beautiful to a reasonable extent. There should be arrangement for its annual whitewashing and repairs. Third is the light and air. There should be adequate light and ventilation. The sunlight should not enter the rooms directly during the summer. The purpose is to have maximum sunlight in winter and minimum sunlight in summer. There should be provision for both natural and artificial light and ventilation. The fourth one is the furniture. The furniture and seats should be comfortable to the students. There should be provision for its annual repairs and polishing. Fifth, canteen. Regular supervision of the school canteen is very important from the point of view of hygiene, cleanliness, nutrition and health. Sixth is drinking water. An adequate provision of fresh and clean drinking water has to be ensured. And the seventh is toilet. This facility should not only be adequate, but its regular cleanliness and disinfection has to be ensured. Eighth is sanitation and hygiene. The plan of the entire school campus should commensurate with the rules and requirements of sanitation and hygiene. Disinfectants should be regularly used at all places whenever necessary. Ninth, dustbins. Dustbins should be provided at suitable spots to help everyone keep the campus clean by throwing pieces of waste paper and such other materials in them. 10th is healthy postures. Suitable postures of sitting, standing, reading, writing, walking, running, working and lying should be emphasized because they are a very essential part of any health education. A wrong posture is very dangerous from the health point of view and it may lead to deformities and stunted growth. 11th is games and exercises. Games and exercises are essential if we want children to enjoy reasonably good health. 12th, midday meals. Proper arrangement of nutritive midday meals should be made. The school should supplement and enrich the lunch of the students. A clean and comfortable seating arrangement should also be provided for the students to take their lunch. 13. The school program. The school program and timetable should be so organized that it may not cause fatigue to the teachers and students. The school hours should be adjusted to the age level of the students and seasonal changes. 14. Teacher's role. The teacher should have a proper emotional balance and a sense of humor to create and maintain a healthy classroom environment. They should respect every student's individuality. Teachers should be fair, honest, impartial and free from prejudice. 15. Medical examination. In order to judge the level of health of students, there will be need for medical examination at regular intervals. Students have to be protected from infectious diseases and treated for ailments if any. Let us now summarize what we have just discussed. Physical education takes care of the most vital aspect of human life, which is the very basis of human existence and strength. It is the basis of a healthy, happy and harmonious life. It helps in the development of a well-balanced, well-integrated and vitally alive human personality. It inculcates the habits of self-discipline, self-control, toleration and forbearance, fortitude and spirit of sportsmanship that enables a person to withstand life's setbacks and shocks and brave all risks and hazards with a smiling face and quite graceful demeanor. The development of a good health is a common cause with physical education and health education. Physical education employs for this purpose the media of exercises, games, sports, dances, etc. In health education, the media are the acquisition of knowledge about living healthfully and immediate participation in healthful practices. The two are complementary forces leading to the development of the individual, family, community and nation. Thank you for watching this session on organizing physical and health education activities in schools. We'll see again with another topic another day. Thank you.